Welcome to the new world of animal allies. The doctors, volunteers, pet owners and other surprising visitors who are out there making a difference. In South Africa, Dr. Rogers has become the first vet in the world to successfully treat a cheetah for cancer. In the UK, the London Aquarium is leading the way to change attitudes towards one of our most feared predators. Ever wondered how to bathe a reluctant cat? Animal Allies How To makes it simple. And 3 Malaysian baby elephants start a new life in a strange place. Dr. Peter Rogers is about to turn a dangerous predator into a docile pussycat. The wildlife vet is visiting South Africa's Kapama Game Reserve to check on Bongani. He's the first cheetah in the world to undergo chemotherapy for cancer, and Doc Rogers has to use a tranquilizer dart to settle the big cat so that he can be examined.
Just move away.
Bongani has faced this procedure more than 10 times while having tumours removed from his paw. Recently, the cheetah has been limping, and Doc Rogers is worried that the cancer may have returned.
All right. I just want to check see what that wound looks like now after all the chemotherapy, and see what's coming back. You know, because we tried to examine him last week without me darting him, and there was no chance. So nearly 6 minutes. Another 2 minutes or so.
Bongani's young neighbours are intrigued. They don't understand why this usually formidable male, a figure of awe, has suddenly started purring peacefully. It's the anaesthetic taking effect, and while Doc Rogers waits for Bongani to settle, he gets a call. A local rancher on a neighbouring farm needs help with 2 orphaned cheetah cubs. Doc Rogers agrees to pick them up later after examining Bongani. In another part of the research and breeding centre at Kapama, Chris Marie Heiner is preparing milk for a baby elephant. Jabulani is lucky to be alive. He was rescued after being abandoned by the herd when he got stuck in mud. He could easily have suffered the same fate as this Cape buffalo. It died after being trapped in this waterhole.
Yeah, well, we estimate he was 3 months old, and he obviously went down to drink, and the water was fast evaporating. And it was actually on a private farm about 80 km from here, and he went in with his mother and the rest of the herd into the water, and he obviously got stuck. So the owners of that farm actually they phoned the local vet, which was the right thing to do, and by the time they got to him, it was like a day later, and he was cold, you know, and their blood glucose falls a hell of a very quickly. So he was very cold and very low blood glucose, so he was in quite a bad way. So they took him back with the help of the local fire brigade. But it just reminded me, you know, looking at this, because, you know, if they'd been maybe a day or so later, he wouldn't have made it. We intervened. Perhaps we shouldn't have, but anyway, we've got him, and we're very glad we've got him.
In the safety of Kapama, Jabu is thriving. He drinks 5 litres of baby formula milk every day, and he already weighs 500 pounds. He's growing at a staggering rate of 12 pounds a month. He would normally live in a large family group of up to 15 relatives, ruled by older females. But in their absence, Jabu has formed a special bond with his human carers. Chris Marie has become his surrogate mother. Together with Scarpy the sheep, they are his constant companions. Between them, they're teaching the baby elephant some basic lessons of life, although some things, like a cooling mud bath, are instinctive. Just a few miles away, 2 orphaned cheetah cubs are becoming stressed and confused after being cooped up for hours. The rancher believes that their mother was run down by a car, but there's no sign of her body. Doc Rogers must persuade the pair to trade their cage for his travel box, but it seems they're in no mood to cooperate.
Get closest to the side so we can watch him all the time. All right.
In Animal Doctors Part 2, we'll rejoin Dr. Rogers to see how he deals with a reluctant duo.
Put all the stuff inside there.
We'll follow Jabu's lessons on how to adjust to life in the wild. And we'll get the results of Bongani's examination and his fight for survival.
The shark, one of the creatures most feared by man. This one and 6 others are cruising waters in central London, striking terror into the hearts of millions. But their home isn't the River Thames, rather the London Aquarium, housed in this former government building. But who are these creatures of the deep? Are they really the man-eaters that films like Jaws would have us believe? Do they prey on innocent victims, or are humans actually their worst enemy? 2 brave souls who are about to find out are Daniel Benham and Jamie Oliver. They work as marine and freshwater specialists at the aquarium.
We're going to be using just standard scuba gear. We're staying in the tank for about half an hour to an hour, so we can stay down there and clean. And they do know when somebody that hasn't been in there before, they can pick up on the sort of the nervous tension. They've got sensors in their nose, and they can pick up, a heartbeat. They can feel the heartbeat, supposedly, when you're in there. So I'm sure they know when someone new's in there.
They're about to come face to face with one of the ocean's most revered inhabitants. One sudden move could upset the sharks, who have highly sophisticated senses. Jamie and Daniel prepare to enter the aquarium's most impressive display, and although this is a scary exercise, it's part of their drive to show sharks are deeply misunderstood creatures. Sharks can detect 1 drop of blood in thousands of litres of water and are perfectly adapted to a predatory lifestyle. They're the ocean's equivalent to Africa's big cats, apex predators at the top of the ocean's food chain. They're an essential part of marine life.
The first time in the Pacific tank was it was very nerve-wracking. My heart was going 10 to the dozen. Got down there, Jamie, the head diver, and I, we knelt in the corner, just seeing how the sharks would respond. And because I was quite nervous, I was obviously giving off sort of stress signals.
Daniel feels the terrifying image of sharks needs a good PR makeover. He wants the public to know that sharks don't just attack on a whim. Like most animals, they only attack when they're hungry. Both men, however, still look out for one another. Shark attacks get wide coverage and are often sensationalized. When a great white fatally attacked a bather near Perth, Australia in 2000, the newspapers had a feeding frenzy. But what is the likelihood of a shark attack? Statistics show more people die each year from a vending machine falling on their heads than are killed by sharks.
A lot of people have a misconception about sharks being these ferocious killers. I think films like Jaws have painted quite a bad picture of them. There are instances where sharks have attacked humans, but generally it's a case of mistaken identity. They feed on seals and turtles naturally, and often a bather or a surfer looks, in their silhouette, looks like either a seal or a turtle.
One reason for mistaken identity is the greater number of bathers in the water every year. This, along with overfishing, means that humans are trespassing more and more into the sharks' territory. In fact, humans are more of a threat to sharks than the other way round. This has left many sharks on the endangered species list. Not all sharks are acutely predatory. The whale shark, which is the biggest fish in the sea, feeds on plankton. But unfortunately, this gentle giant who lives in tropical waters has been hunted almost to extinction. This one was caught off Taiwan in 1996, and when it was cut open, 300 whale shark young were discovered inside. Some were as large as ½ meter. Shark meat is a delicacy in some parts of Asia, and as many as 3.5 million sharks are hunted every year. Jamie and Daniel believe understanding who sharks really are is the key to saving the species. Their efforts as animal helpers appear to be working. They believe people are responding by changing their attitudes and breaking down the stereotype. Truly understanding the shark will only come from bringing these creatures closer to the public.
After the break, Animal Allies will be back with a practical guide to bathing that cat. And how will 2 enthusiastic vets transport 3 baby elephants from one side of the world to another? Sitting contentedly here surveying his territory, this UK champion show cat is blissfully ignorant of what's about to befall him. It's a cat's worst nightmare. Animal Allies Guide to Bathing a Cat. Cat specialist Francis de Courcy-Rolls reveals the art of keeping a cat clean, and being given a bath is no sweat for Britannicus. Firstly, check the water temperature.
It is sort of just slightly hotter than hand hot.
Keep the temperature constant to maintain body heat and keep their eyes and head free of water. Britannicus loves a good scrub, but not all cats are as good. Get someone to help out if this is the case.
So we have one person holding the front while the other person shampoos. I'm now going to put ordinary cat shampoo and just cover a minute.
You can buy cat shampoo at any pet shop. Conditioner is also advisable to detangle longer-haired cats.
This is basically gives a nice shine to the coat, also ease, of when combing, makes combing easier.
Time for the rinse, then wrap your cat in a fluffy towel. Not only does this start to dry the animal, but it keeps it warm. Time for the bit that Britannicus likes best. Francis is a professional cat breeder, so has bought a special dryer fixed on a stand, but a normal hairdryer would suffice. Keep it on a low setting and moving. Use a wide-toothed comb or hairbrush to help dry the fur. Drying over, Britannicus feels much happier and relaxed. So for this week's Animal Allies how-to, keep the water temperature constant. Ensure the cat's eyes and head are protected. Use a cat shampoo and conditioner. Wrap the cat to keep it warm. Dry and brush with a wide-toothed comb.
The Malaysian elephant is the most endangered elephant in the world. It's believed that there are only 1,500 remaining, a far cry from the 500,000 African elephants. But this story is about 3 little elephants, these 3. These orphans are staying at the Malacca Zoo in southern Malaysia, but with the blessing of the country's government, they're being sent to Australia to start a new life thousands of miles away at the Perth Zoo. Elephant keeper Lee Sandbrook is here to help them on their way.
What it basically is Malaysia want to try and keep a population of elephants around 2,000. They feel that they really can't handle much more than that, otherwise I guess culling's the only option they've got, and it's good that they don't want to choose that option, so they pick out certain animals for zoos to help captive breeding programs really.
They weigh in at over 500 pounds each and they're growing daily, so Lee has his hands full in the days leading up to the big trip. Lee makes sure all the animals' needs are met and that they're healthy and in good shape for travelling. The elephants love to splash around a bit at bath time, and a bath is just what they need before Lee and his friends can prepare them for the long journey ahead. Once Lee has checked and measured the elephants, he introduces them to their transportation crates, which they'll spend the next day or so in. In Malaysia, like in many Asian countries, the elephants work on farms and plantations. They're domesticated and are a great help to farmers who can't afford expensive machinery like tractors.
The plan now is we start loading the animals at 11 o'clock at night, giving ourselves about 2 hours to load them, just in case there's any problems, but we don't really see any. And then we'll probably head out about 1 o'clock in the morning, get to the airport in KL about 4 o'clock in the morning, and then just hang around for them to be loaded, the passengers to get on, and off we go, back to Perth. Hopefully arrive there tomorrow afternoon.
Night falls and it's time for the travellers to be on their way. It takes more than an hour for the keepers to gently persuade the baby elephants to enter their crates. But eventually they're safe inside. By 1 a.m. they're loaded onto the truck and begin their 4-hour drive to Malaysia's capital, Kuala Lumpur, where the international airport is located. Eventually they arrive at the airport, and waiting for them is what else but a jumbo jet. The airline is flying these VIPs first class and has a team of vets waiting to ensure the trip is not too stressful for the animals. And like all good stories, this one has a happy ending. Since then, they've grown quite a bit and they're very happy in their new home at Perth Zoo.
After some gentle persuasion by Dr. Peter Rogers, the cheetah cubs are finally ready to leave their cage and get going to a safe new life at Kapama. They're an important addition because it's unusual for wild cheetah cubs to survive without their mothers. They will now provide vital new blood to a species that's been weakened by a lack of diversity. At the start of the century, there were hundreds of thousands of cheetahs roaming in the wild. Now there are only 10,000 left. Back at Kapama, Scarpy and Jabu are going for a walk. And while it all looks like play, this is an important part of a long-term plan to reintroduce Jabu back into a herd. Jabu's personal handler Fawny plays the role of mother, showing the young elephant where to find food. And while Scarpy is just doing what comes naturally, Jabu is following his lead, and in doing so is learning how to fend for himself in the wild. It'll be a couple of months before Doc Rogers attempts to introduce Jabu to other elephants. Knowing what to eat is a vital skill. An adult elephant can consume half a ton of vegetation a day. At the end of the day, it's back to the safety of Kapama, where Jabu and the others can close the gates on the real world and escape the dangers of poachers and famine, but not disease. Cancer could easily have killed Bongani, but it seems this big cat isn't ready to give up his fight yet.
There's no real lump if you look inside here. There's no real lump at all. It's just like, you know, see, it's been chafing. This is where we took out the last one. And we took another one out here as well, you see.
Doc Rogers decides that Bongani's wound will need to be protected from infection with a spray of antiseptic. Bongani is given the all clear for now, and the Kapama team is quietly confident that the cheetah will make a complete recovery. Bongani should be back on his feet again in 10 minutes. A pioneer of medical research, he's helped prove that chemotherapy can help save the lives of big cats with cancer. In the next programme, the new world of Animal Allies finds 2 orphan bear cubs rescued in Russia after their mother is killed. And a very sick kitten goes under the knife of Animal Ally Jessica Gower.
There are ways to make a difference.